I've got a habit where I always draw a ground plane. I don't know. It comes from car design because I'm always drawing a ground plane because the car's got to sit on something. But it's also translated now into my products and into everything. It's just a habit. That's how I break the ice. And so I'll start off with a sole, basic shape of a shoe. So this is what I normally do when I'm not trying to. I use a bunch of solid lines, straight lines, to build my shape. Because sometimes it's easier for me. But I have many ways. There's many ways to skin a cat, but anyway, this is one of them. And I'm just putting in some strokes. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going easy, low-hanging fruit, easy stuff. And, you know, I'm good enough. I'm good with that. You know, whatever. It's not the best, but who knows? Maybe I see something down the road. When I get away from my drawing and I come back, maybe I see something. It's just ideas. Now I'm going to try something completely unproportional, which I love doing. I mean, it's like, no way could this be a shoe. But what's cool, what I did, I've done this before. I've done completely unproportional stuff, and then I find a skeleton of a foot or a hand, and I superimpose it on top, and then I can really play with it. I mean, I don't know, because it's nice to mix fact with fiction. So the fact of the skeleton, that's fact, but then the fiction area is the extreme proportions, and hey, you know, shoes can be art as well. So, you know, sometimes you can say, yeah, well, that's actually meant to be a piece of art. So there's a lot of big sole stuff going on too, I noticed. I'm a sucker for high top shoes. I really like them. So, and you know, I'm not going to fill these things in. Some elements I will, but no, generally I'm not going to fill them in at this moment. I might even do a little 3D. I used to be a shoe designer. I worked for Fila, I worked for Puma, I did some stuff for Adidas. So, I do love shoes. If you guys want to brainstorm about what wearables could be, you could just go a classic handbag. Sometimes it's nice to start with something classic, like a classic handbag or a record bag or a bag to carry your computer, but then start to embellish it, like, okay, I don't know, put a drone on that thing. You know, something like that. Or maybe there's a built-in battery pack so you could charge all of your peripherals. You know, something that's really useful and totally relevant, because everyone's running out of juice on their phone. Definitely install a battery pack on the base of this thing. I love the idea of a backpack and boombox. I'm so into that idea. I call it a boombax. A boomback. B-A-X. I like to draw that. I love that drawing. I try to draw it as much as I can. What other wearables? Oh, this one's called "Pull Yourself Up by the Bootstraps." As a joke, by the way. Okay, so I've done all these square ones. I'm going to do something very organic. See what happens. Oh, this one's the happy face. It just looks happy. Just trying to think of perspective. It's funny how I'm already thinking about perspective. That's kind of cute, actually. Okay. Okay, what's really cool, as far as shoes, sometimes if you're running out of ideas, I love to do a top view. It's really hard to do this with a with a Sharpie because the shape of the foot, for me, a top view, takes a lot of finessing and a lot of work to get it looking correct. So doing it with a Sharpie is not advisable. But I managed to do it because I'm all warmed up anyway. So, and then here's the collar. Okay, this is where I can get funky with the top view. If you ever run out of ideas for a top view, do a top view. If you ever run out of ideas for doing a shoe, do a top view because this is where you get funky. So like, what if you had fins in the back here? I don't know what they would look like in 3D. And what if you had a big fin in the front? So now let me try to draw that in a side view. So I'm running out of space, but how am I thinking about that? So maybe there's a fin there, and then I've got these fins here like rockets. Something like that. That could be interesting. But the drawing looks terrible. So I'm going to try that again, actually, because I feel like I could work with that. I'll make finally a low top. That's a fin right there. There's going to be fin right here as well. Stabilizers. Actually, I'm going to write that in. Stabilizer, is it with an A or an I? Stabilizer. Stabilizers. 3 stabilizers times 3. I feel like that can work. I'm going to try that one more time. Color it in just because I messed up so much. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. If you're sketching with a Sharpie on your in your sketchbook, it'll bleed. So if you don't want to ruin your paper underneath, stick a safety thing in here like that. So stabilizers, I'm into that. I think I'm ready to move on to the ballpoint pen. Because I need to get detailed. I'm going to start drawing a 3-dimensional of this stabilizer idea. By the way, sometimes it's easier to draw a silhouette of a shoe than to get all nitty-gritty on it, because it just sometimes is. Maybe that front one's a bit stupid, so I don't know if I like this idea. I think I'm going to give up on it. Alright, so I've got enough drawings now. That's how I'm rolling. And now I'm going to take a photograph of it with my iPad or with my phone because it's easier, and take it into